now.
The No Fruit Podcast.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Maurice.
And this is Kafi.
We thank you for tuning in today. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Maurice.
Yes.
What you been watching?
Wow, you just gonna go into it, right?
I just want to know. Inquiry minds want to know what
All
have
right.
you been watching?
So, here it goes. So, some of you might not understand that I watch a lot of Ratchet or listen to a lot of Rachetness. And sometimes I listen to it as I'm doing some regular work or whatever else, and they're saying some ratchet things, it piques my interest, right?
Mm-hmm. Because you don't have any ratchetness going on in your real life, so you have to live vicariously through other people's ratchetness.
Yeah, I mean, as far as me personally, no, I do not have ratchetness going on.
I mean, some people watch reality TV,
Yeah.
and everybody's bickering and fighting and sleeping with each other's spouses or whatever, and that's ratchet.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you don't look at reality TV.
I don't.
But you seem to look at some other things.
And I don't really live in that ratchet place either.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
You don't live in the ratchet
so
place.
I don't look at it or whatever. But I listen to it from time to time. I mean, I guess we look at it because we do look at Married at First Sight. That's kind of ratchet. It can be.
Okay.
It can be. But a couple years ago, I don't know why.
It's been that long?
Yeah, I've been listening to it for some time. I guess since the pandemic happened.
Okay.
And I had come across, I don't think it was on YouTube first. I don't know where I had come across it first. But I started listening to these stories that people are reading from Reddit.
Okay.
And they are, am I the jerk? Or am I the idiot? Or are you the idiot? Right? And there are stories on top of stories on top of stories. I mean, y'all can YouTube this stuff right now. Am I the idiot or am I the jerk? And you'll come up across.
So Reddit is like a Dear Abby or like.
Reddit, well, Reddit is just a plethora, whatever. It's a whole lot of stuff on there.
It's Pandora's box.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can find a little bit about anything. It's just like an open forum. So people talk about their life stuff on there. People sell their business stuff on there.
Okay.
So it's almost like a Craigslist, but of open forum. So you can, it's a whole lot of information on there.
It's a potpourri.
Yeah, it is, most definitely.
Okay.
And so, but I don't know why I just listen to these stories. So, there's one where an individual wanted to really date this lady, right?
Okay.
And in him wanting to date the lady, she kept expressing to him that she really only saw him as a friend, right?
Okay. Right.
And so, and wanted to only see him as a friend, but unfortunately he was so mesmerized by her for whatever reason. And they were long distance, right?
Okay.
And so as they are talking and chilling or whatever else, he's so mesmerized that he's sending her money and gifts and, all these type of things. And come to find out, a few months in, the young lady's pregnant.
Wow, by him?
Not by him, though. I mean, now, keep in mind, he was going down there every now and then to see her.
Oh, okay.
But they never slept together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was sending her all these gifts and things like that. And what happened is that they were having a conversation, and he was kind of poking and prodding, right? Her just this one day, and for whatever reason, she just had come out and talked about how she was pregnant by this other guy.
Oh, wow.
So, but the thing is that he never, even though she was pregnant with this other guy where she was giving like, hey, you know what? I got drunk one night and whatever else. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That he believed her and he continued to support her.
Wow.
Moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now in that situation, the reason why I guess we brought it up because again we don't live in a ratchet space.
No.
We have ratchetness all around us. Don't get me wrong.
Surrounded by ratchetness.
But personally, I don't have a whole lot of ratchetness personally. But we brought it up because it's just and Kafa listened to some of this stuff with me, and she laughs at it because we'll listen to it as I'll listen to it as I'm ironing clothes, and she'll just bust out of nowhere as she's going to brush her teeth. Am I the jerk? Stuff like that. It's the most funniest thing. But in this space of this young person, because it made me think about our kids. More especially our son, because of how he views his relationships with people and individuals, whatever else. And we've talked about this the other day, just how they kind of latch on to people. If this was our child and we found out about this, how would you deal with that? How would you deal with that?
How would I deal with it?
Yeah.
If he was pursuing someone long distance, and then to find out that that person was in a relationship or not in a relationship, just had gotten intertwined.
What's that word?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of it.
Oh man, I'm good.
Not mangled.
No.
I can't think of it.
An entanglement.
An entanglement.
Yes.
If he found that this person he was talking to, pursuing, found themselves in an entanglement, and that entanglement resulted in a pregnancy, I would say, the handwriting's kind of on the wall. Like, dude, step off. Like, I understand you have feelings, but obviously that person didn't have feelings for you, or maybe the feelings were strong and you just weren't there at that particular time. Because sometimes that people will use that as an excuse, like, you got me all hot and bothered and you wasn't here and I had to handle some stuff. In the ratchet world, I can hear that happening.
Yes. Most definitely, I agree.
But then to do it irresponsibly, I guess, not to be protected. Hey, well, maybe again, you weren't in that mindset. You didn't think it was going to go that far, so protection wasn't used. But, me in my grown-up state, I would say to my son, like, okay, it wasn't meant for you. Not at this particular time. I'm not going to say that she's not your future missus, baby and all, and drama and all, and ratchetness and all. But it's kind of hard. I don't know. What would you say?
I mean, I would probably be like, look, there's more fish in the sea. Be out, deuces, bounce.
Right.
Especially if it's long distance, though. You get what I mean? So long distance. All right. So, okay, let's I guess, define long distance.
Okay.
So anything more than 2 minutes is long distance.
No, not nowadays. And it's hard.
No, you're right.
Nowadays, everybody, it's not even long distance because I can FaceTime you. You can be, in 3 time zones away, but it's not really long distance anymore. I think back in our day,
I mean, I guess
excuse me, we had long distance where you had to do a collect call, or you had to do, have long distance service on your phone in order to connect with somebody. I remember like trying to talk to people in New Jersey, and I was like, I can't call you because I don't have
long distance, right?
I don't have long distance in New Jersey. Like, New Jersey? From Pennsylvania, for those who are listening and don't know, is one state away.
It's right next door.
Right next door. Less than 15 minutes, really. But that was long distance. It was interesting. So,
I mean, right now, and let's even put this in a bigger perspective. So, right where we live currently, both the state of New Jersey and the state of Delaware are driving wise, we can be there in 10 minutes, just to the state line.
Right.
Either one. So,
we're truly in the tri-state area.
Yeah, most definitely. So as I guess what you're saying, Kaf, is that in our grown-up state,
yes,
Delaware, New Jersey is not long distance.
No, I mean not even in our grown-up state, even within, if you're speaking about someone who's 20 years old.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it because we're in this moment right now, this time.
Right here, in this day and age, 2022.
But when I was 20 years old in New Jersey, oh my gosh, that's
she's a foreigner. I mean,
most definitely.
Just things were just different. So many years ago, Reese.
I mean, so I think that I would really encourage him to find someone that was 2 minutes away.
No, because that creates a whole nother level of ratchetness.
Oh, I mean, it does.
2 minutes away.
It does, but the reason why I would probably encourage that, because the further away you get, the easier, in my opinion, is for someone to do something else. Mm-hmm. So back in the day, when you did not have, let's say, caller ID, because keep in mind, everybody didn't have caller ID. It was available, but everybody did not have it.
You had to pay for it.
Right. So if someone called, you knew or didn't know who was on the phone, because then at that time you'd be like, yo, I'm going to call you at 8 o'clock. So when the phone rang at 8 o'clock, like, yo, I know who it was, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, like, anyone can call at any given time, as long as their name is in your phone, the name is going to come up. So I think in the past, it was, you were a little more attached, and you kind of knew what that individual was going to do, not do, or whatever else. And because of that, like, let's say, for an example, I'm going to go see somebody and I got a call on a payphone. Well, you don't know if that's me or not, especially if you have, and I think it was a little harder for me to pop up on somebody, especially in I don't have caller ID and I don't know where you are space.
Right.
Versus now, you can share your location you can share your location unknowingly, mm-hmm. and people can see where the heck you are. Right. Snapchat or whatever else. So I think right now, if you are 15 minutes away, I know that I can come in and do whatever in 15 minutes because of you're that far away. I have time. Back then, you didn't know that. Now, that also went both ways, though. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So I think that's what happens when you listen to these ratchet stories. You start to reflect on, wow, this is how it really went down, right? Or what's the space people really have? So 2 minutes away, people will be like, well, Maurice, that's just at the corner of your block. Yeah, right. You're right. Now, let's be honest, though. I'm not telling anyone to be at the corner of the block. Like, that's absurd. Like you said, that's ratchetness unto itself.
Right. Yeah.
Because somebody order Uber Eats and be like, who that chick at your door? Who that? Why you can keep getting all this Amazon packages? How come so you can have so many other mm-hmm. ratchet situations. But I don't think, this is just me. I don't think long distance relationships work. You take a look at people that's making money or whatever else, and when I say making money, they just have a job, and their job encourages or requires them to be on a road. Just like in the past, people had separate lives.
Right.
You get what I mean? And is really in your face based off of social media. You see separate lives all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? So in the past, it might not have been so in your face. You know, you had dudes that have, you know, families separate, had 2 or 3 families within a, you know, 5 to 8 block radius. But
I mean, but that's not even long distance. You know what I mean?
that's not long distance, but
I mean, I think some long distance relationships can work. You think about those service people. You know, that's long distance. While they're serving the country or whatever, on tour with whatever they have to do.
Right. Well, I need some oil for my chair.
You know those are your bones.
Yeah, right.
Halloween's coming. So, I mean, I think there's a way, but again, with that, you have to have a level of trust. You have to have a level of, a lot has to go into the relationship to make a long distance relationship work.
Yeah.
And I think it's a certain type of person that can deal with that. So.
Well, I mean, this guy that was on Reddit, I mean, eventually, because while they're narrating, the narrator's like, hey, I really hope this guy gets some help and this, that, and the other. And then the commenters are commenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's reading all the comments on the Reddit, and people are ruthless.
Wow.
You know, some people are just like, yo, you know, he's been played the whole time. She was taking his money. You know, he should have known what was going on. He's weak. He's soft. You know, she's a hoe. Like, you know, you hear all these things. Yeah, they be going in. They be going in. So what is it that you do in those situations? And for me, I would not, I'm not going to say no to my son nor my daughter. And again, they're grown-ish, right? So they can kind of pick and choose who they're going to deal with. But if they were to ask their father for his opinion, that's just me. I guess I'm a little more old school mindset. Just want to be a little closer to home. It don't have to be in the same part of the city, or maybe even like we live in the county, the suburbs of Philly. So if they lived in Philly and with us being in the suburbs, you know, that type of thing, I mean, yeah, that's fine. But I'm not sure if I could do another state. I think that's a little too far.
Again, you know, there's certain parts of Philly that are an hour away. And as we just said, hey, you can get to 2 other states in a matter of minutes. So it's hard to say. But I think it depends on where you are in the relationship. If you have built a relationship and been together and you trust one another, then you might be able to endure that space. But I think in the beginning where you're saying that this gentleman was, you know, new dating, trying to create a relationship, didn't really have it, I think that's where the disconnect was. I think if he had been in a committed relationship, or if she was committed to him and he was committed to her, and if he wasn't trying to pursue her, because it sounds like she wasn't trying to pursue him if she was kind of put him in the friend zone.
But what is that? Like, I keep hearing that.
What, friend zone?
Yeah, because I listen to other podcasts. Again, YouTube is a plethora of information. So
friend zones.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because it sounds like,
I think people get it twisted. I think, you know, friend zone is a dangerous place because a lot of intimate detail is shared in the friend zone.
right.
And if you are pursuing, you can think that means that you're getting close to that person and that you have a chance. But if that person puts you in the friend zone, rock that, like be that, like you're a friend. And some people sometimes will push it and try to wait it out and think that, okay, I will be promoted to the next level. But even if you do, I think it doesn't work out. Because again, so much was shared in the friend zone that it taints it a little bit from the next level.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you have sisters out there, Reese.
I do.
That people you grew up with in elementary school, high school, and they shared a lot with you.
They did.
And you were in the friend zone. You were in the bro zone.
Right.
You never, saw them as anything more. And I don't think they saw you as anything more, to this day. You're still friends with some of those people who you knew and connected with before we even met.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think it would have been different if you or that other person were trying to pursue something more. Again, what would those relationships and what would those conversations be like? Like I think of I have a cousin who has she has a male friend that's in a friend zone, in the bro zone, and they've been friends since like 2nd or 3rd grade. They're both like dang near 50. And, I've asked him, like, well, he's always around. Like, when something happens, he's there. When whatever, he's supportive in some ways. But she's like, no, I don't like him like that. I can't stand him. Like, he's just not my kind of person. He's her person, in a brotherly cousin-like stance. But there's just certain things that he just don't connect on. They don't connect politically.
But
they
I
don't
understand
connect.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. So, the one thing about the friend zone, in my opinion, to me, the door is always open.
I think it's open at a certain level, but I think after 10 years or after a certain amount of years of you being there, if there was initial attraction or something, but again, after you share so much information, unless, like you said, where this girl was drinking, it just doesn't seem to go there. Maybe when you're younger, but I think maybe after the age of 30, like, you just like, yo, no, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I mean, listen to some of these Reddit things or whatever else,
oh, that's right, the Rachetness. Yes.
or even, again, listen to some of these ratchet things on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I listen. You hear my reels in the middle of the night, you be waking up, be all mad at me, But when these guys,
be so loud.
Yeah, it'd be by accident. I'd be in the bathroom and it'd just be loud, be bouncing off the walls. But when you have these guys that's walking around asking these young ladies, questions, different questions or whatever else, more especially when it's 2 young ladies and the guy asks, hey, can she call your boyfriend and ask your boyfriend, can he Netflix and chill, right? And I would say probably a good 98% of the time, when the girl asked the guy's like, yo, you already know what it's popping for. You get what I mean?
Mm.
It's just like, yo, I'm just waiting for that moment. Whether or not it's 10 years, 20 years, whatever, they just waiting for that moment.
Right, but that moment for what?
I mean...
and that's the difference.
Yeah, well... The moment is that whole Netflix and chill, which we already know is code for whatever.
Right. You know what I mean? Versus to build to have a relationship. And I think that's the difference. If, the bro zone was open to a relationship, that might be different. But if it's just like, hey, you just trying to smash, then no.
I don't know. I mean, I agree that it's maybe not be set up to be in a long-term committed situation, but sometimes you don't know either.
Right.
You really don't know because once you cross that line, other things change.
Right,
or
but I think they
change.
both have to have that question in their mind, whether or not, hey, I wonder what he's like. I wonder what she's like. But again, with all of that, did they share any intimate, moments, not only about themselves or about other people, and where that kind of went, So I think, it just depends on what was shared, if it's, oh, well, Dag, he ain't do whatever, well, maybe I can. Well, Dag, she ain't treat you right, well, maybe I can. If that's in the back of your mind, then no, you're not in the bro zone.
Right.
You're not in the friend zone. Because if y'all truly in the friend zone, you're not thinking that. You're thinking, oh, dang, like, why did they treat you bad?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like you would if it was just, the same sex friend.
Right.
There's just no other feeling there.
I mean, like, and I guess the other thing, because the whole time we're talking, I'm like, yo, Janae right now has a friend like that. He took her out for her birthday. Like, you get what I mean? And here's a reality is that he sat there while she was getting her nails done. And it's like, yo, really? Like, that's where y'all are? And to me, that was just a little much on my end. I guess because it's something that I would not have done. But like you said, if you're in the bro zone, because even my sisters, I'm like, all right, yo, I'm out. I'll talk to y'all later.
Right. Text me when you're done. I'll come pick you up.
Right. I'm not in that space of like, I'm going to sit there with you and get your nails done. Look, I'm going to be honest. I won't even do that with my wife.
Nope.
So I'm just going to be honest with you. You get what I mean? I don't know why. That's just not for me at this stage in my life. Not saying it won't ever change. It can, but that's just not for me. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just funny to listen to some of these ratchet stories on Reddit. People complaining about their grass being cut and not cut and putting up fake walls and, stealing people. Like the one I listened to this morning where the lady was trying to steal this man's doll out of his cart because she's been looking for it, all Christmas season. He got the last one. She trying to take it and call the cops and everything else, So, let me tell you, like, it's been some really, really interesting stories. So I encourage each and every one of you to listen to it if you need some wretchedness in your life. Especially if you don't have any on your own. Maybe you just listen to someone else's stories. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There are some times I'll be listening. I'm like, yo. Now, for those of you that remember, I am a licensed minister. So I'll be thinking like, wow, that might preach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it'll be some really ratchet, situations and the outcomes. But, that whole one about the pregnant piece, I thought that was very interesting because it hits a little closer to home when I think about our kids and them being in those situations.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out, and deal with it as it comes along. You get what I mean? But that's what I'm watching yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow, too. So it's not about why I'm watching it now. I'm going to be watching it for a while. But we thank y'all for listening to us today.
Thank you so much.
And be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter.
And we'll follow you back.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.
This week's episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.